Hi, I'm Kelly Zitlow. I've been helping people realize the dream of home ownership for over 25 years. Today, I'm excited to be answering the question, how do I get pre-qualified for a mortgage, which is the first step towards home ownership. So I'll be sharing everything you need to know. Be sure to stay to the end for my #1 tip on mortgage pre-qualifications. But before I get started, do me a favor, subscribe to this channel. I truly have a passion for home loan education and I love helping people. Please subscribe and become part of this community. Okay, so let's do this. What is a mortgage pre-qualification? All right, so this is going to be a letter that the lender is going to send to you once you have gone through the pre-qualification process. So here's how it looks. Initially, you're going to want to find a trusted lender. So somebody in your market that has been referred to you, maybe by a real estate agent or one of your friends or family members. Working with somebody that has a proven track history is without a doubt the first step. So now you've identified the lender, schedule a time to talk with them. So you're just going to want to kind of walk through, what are your hopes? What are your dreams? Are you renting now? What's your budget to purchase a house? Have you had any credit issues? All of that type of conversation is what we do in the initial first conversation. After that point, you are going to complete a pre-qualification application. So this application is going to have all kinds of information that it's requesting of you. One of which is going to be the basics. So your legal name, your social security number, your date of birth, how many years of schooling do you have? Do you have any dependents? Where you reside and where you have lived for the last 2 years. Your employment information, so 2-year employment history. If you've had gaps between your employment, you're going to want to make note of that so the lender is aware out of the gate of the gaps that you may have had. So 2-year employment history, very important. Then you're going to have to communicate what your income is. So is it a W-2 income? Are you 1099 income? Are you self-employed? Is it a Schedule C? Do you have an S Corp? So income is a really, really broad number. If you don't know any of those, go ahead and just put in what you think because the lender is going to ask you for some documentation and they will dial in exactly what the usable income is for the home loan. The mortgage pre-qualification application is also going to ask you questions such as, do you pay child support, alimony, or spousal maintenance? Are you currently in litigation? Have you had a bankruptcy or a foreclosure? Those are the questions that are going to be asked. Are you a co-signer on somebody else's home loan or car loan? And are you a first-time home buyer? Have you ever served in the military? The questions just keep coming. So allocate about 15 to 20 minutes if you're going to be doing this application online. At that point, you will submit the pre-qualification application and then the lender will review it, pull your credit report. Now, keep in mind on this credit report, this is going to be a different credit scoring model than maybe what you've seen in the past. The reason for that is that there are various algorithms that drive different types of credit scores all across the country. And I'm often asked, well, why does my credit score look this way from the home lender credit report when online it looks this way through my credit card or through the credit score reporting companies? The reason for that is that lots of different algorithms exist that drive certain types of credit scores. For mortgage lending, it is a preset type of credit scoring algorithm that all lenders have to use, and that is what is going to drive your mortgage pre-qualification. It's going to be the middle score of all 3 credit bureaus. So we're pulling TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. So it's going to be the lowest middle credit score for the credit report. Now, once we have all of that, that's already a lot, right? Now we're going to ask you for some documentation. And on the documentation, we're going to be looking for your income documentation. So 2 years of your tax returns, your W-2s, and if you're self-employed, we're going to ask you for even more documentation. And the current lending guidelines for self-employed people really are pretty not invasive, but kind of invasive in the sense that it's going to require a whole lot of information and documentation. So just know it's not you, it's not us, it's the lending guidelines that wants, if you're self-employed, 2 years personal tax returns, 2 years business tax returns, if you're filing a separate tax return for the business. Any K-1s, W-2s, that's also required, as well as a profit and loss statement and a balance sheet and 3 months of your business bank account statements. The reason for that is that the guidelines really want to be sure that your income has not declined from your last filed tax return. Asset documentation, so 2 months bank statements, your most recent investment account statement, all pages too. This is probably the #1 part of the home loan pre-qualification process that really gets people off track, and actually through the whole loan process. And that is providing the required documentation that a lender can document the assets that you're going to use for the home loan process. So these would be the funds you're going to use for closing, your closing cost funds, together with reserves that might be required for the home loan program that you're using. So complete account statements, #1, like most important thing. Okay, that's not the most important thing. I have another important thing, but this is a really important thing. So it can't just be the first page of the bank statement. If there's 20 pages of the bank statement, we need all 20 pages. On your investment account statements, same deal. Sometimes these investment account statements monthly are significantly large, like 100 pages. Guess what? All pages are going to be required. And then if you have money moving in and out of accounts, guess what? The lender is going to require that we track where all of that money is coming from. So if you can go into this thinking that you're going to have to be really dialed in and provide a lot of documentation on where all of your money is coming from for the home lending process, I promise you it's going to set you up for success in the long haul. And then at the end too, don't forget, the lender's going to want to have your driver's license or a passport, and if you're a permanent resident, they're going to want a copy of your permanent resident card. How long does a mortgage pre-qualification last? Well, a credit report for the home lending process will last for 120 days, which means that you have to actually buy and close on your loan prior to that time frame. If you don't, it's not a big deal. The lender will go ahead with your approval and just keep your home loan pre-qualification application open, and they will update your credit report, re-pull it, and then you'll have another 120 days. In this market, we do find a lot of people needing to have credit re-pulled, and it's not a big deal, so don't stress about it. The other piece of the puzzle though is, remember, that documentation is time sensitive. So all those pay stubs that you provided and your asset account statements and your bank statements and your investment account statements, all that stuff's gonna need to be updated because it becomes outdated. And for the lending process, please be sure that you are holding that information and either uploading it to the lender's portal so they have it as you get it, or you have it all put together, because if it has taken you 3 months or 4 months to find a house and you finally get under contract, you want to be organized and get that information over to the lender ASAP so they have what they need to update your pre-qualification application and get you moving along in the process. My #1 tip is actually a question I get quite often, and that is, can I close the name of the home loan in my business's name or in the name of an LLC? Well, residential home financing actually only closes in a trust or in someone's personal name, not in the name of a business or an LLC. If you want to obtain financing in the name of your business or an LLC, that's going to be a commercial loan, and you're going to want to talk to a commercial lender. So that's it. Now you know all about mortgage pre-qualifications and how to get a mortgage pre-qualification in tow so you can go buy that house. Remember, it's always recommended to work with an experienced mortgage lender to help you through the home loan process. If that's in Arizona, Colorado, or California, please feel free to give me a call. If you have any questions, comment below. And don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you soon.